awesome. I forgot.
Okay.
What that sounded like.
Now, next one is Do Something.
Oh,
I'll just say it.
yep.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
You're
thank you
never
for
going
that.
to get
Which
that.
is funny because Do Something comes up randomly. Like, I think I can't remember, but like a few people in the Ohana that always bring up
Oh
Do
my
Something,
gosh.
I think.
Like an Obi.
Yeah, like,
I love
whether
those.
it be an Obi or whether it be like someone
Yeah.
in a different state that's been coming to shows
Yeah.
for 20 years or
Yeah.
something. They're all about Do Something that comes up. But
Do Something is kind of like the no control vein.
okay,
All right.
yeah.
So it's just like down, 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 down.
Okay, yeah. It is what I'm thinking of. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Chili Peppers inspired
Oh, yeah.
at that time. But then also too, like messages like, oh, man, because like let's see, what happened in 08 or 07? Is that like George Bush or something? Like there's always like a president, right? There's always like a president that's ruining life, and everyone's like, oh my God, we're watching the news. This is gonna this is like, yeah, it's like gonna be like everything's gonna die or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
Okay.
oh man, ever since I can remember,
Right.
it's like the world's always ending.
Yeah.
Ever
Okay. Yeah.
since
Now
I
I
can
got it.
remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
which is-
it was like that boiling point of like, what are you guys like, why are you even talking?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
This is so ridiculous. It's been ending forever.
Yeah.
And it's never ending.
Yeah.
It like continues to go on.
Because think about us growing up. Sorry to cut you off, but think about us growing up and our parents. They're just like, fucking Reagan.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we're like, who's this Reagan?
Yeah,
Is he an actor?
implement
The
any
actor?
The act. Yes, thank you. Implement any actor, president, whatever it is, right?
So funny.
But it really is because like the world's always ending. Like you get to this point of just like,
Yeah.
why are you guys even still talking about this?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
this
yeah.
is so shitty.
Yeah.
Like also we're like touring, traveling the world,
Yeah.
seeing people.
How badass
like
the
they're-
world
they're
is.
Like they're jumping around, singing songs.
Yeah.
We're drinking and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
partying and
Yeah.
meeting, like going to Japan
Yeah.
and like going to Europe and just we're
Oz.
like we're living and
Yeah.
eating delicious food and like having like these situations in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
Right after No Shame and that budget, like
Yeah.
you're just like
Oof.
the world is sick.
Yeah.
Like just stop.
So it's
already.
like,
Yeah.
you guys, whatever you want to think, we're just going to be over here having a good time.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
So opening lyrics: fire one round, fire one shot, fire something, fire 151.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what-
sick. Yeah.
Because
I like
Coach
that.
used to do the 151 fireball.
Oh my God.
Right. On
And-
stage.
And, then when he did that, people would be like,
That's
they
a
would
s-
freak out, like.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, and it's just
I
like brought so much
151.
fun to
That's
everybody.
great.
And if because let's see, because if the world does end, I want all my friends to be around when the shit goes down.
Yeah.
Sick.
So just if it's gonna end, let's hang out.
Yeah.
And just have a good time.
Yeah.
If it's gonna always be
Fuck
ending,
yeah.
let's just hang out, have a good time,
Yeah.
and then if it ends, okay,
Yeah.
we did it.
At least we're together.
That's a
Check.
cool. That's
Yeah.
a cool perspective.
And-
George Bush, fuck you. But then look at our reality. We
Yeah.
couldn't be. Like you just described the best part of our fucking. That's
Totally.
so sick.
And that song's got a sick, abrupt ending, similar to Back Home.
How does it end?
It's just with the bump.
Oh,
You know what I mean? It's
Simple.
got one of those.
That is
yeah, it's
simple.
got one of those.
That is very hip
Yeah, it's got
abrupt.
one of those sick back home fucking just
Bam.
stop, just stops. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Well, the groove was not right. Down to down to down. That's the one. Damn.
Yeah.
Down,
Damn it.
down,
What the
down,
space?
Yeah.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
And then there's that double time like sorry to hit the table.
Oh, hey.
Hey, we're doing the rhythm. There's that double time like pre-chorus part that builds up before the chorus part.
It does go double. Side sticking?
You're breathing.
No.
Exhale.
No.
You're breathing.
like
Tackle, tackle, tackle.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pack.
Little Byron in there for you?
Yeah.
Sick. But I love this fact. What a cool perspective of like, oh God, turn on the news, what everyone sees, including us. But that's not what we're doing.
We were just, this is a time of like complete exploration.
No.
And we were always together. It was Hyla, Tech Nine, Ramey, the three of us.
Yeah.
I see pick the
All,
shot
like,
of
we-
Coach,
that
what you
was- that
said.
was, like-
151. Fuck!
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's fucking, thank God he didn't have a beard back
Oh my
then. Or not
God.
as big of a beard.
Yeah, no,
'Cause
I
that
just
thing
had-
would have been
Fire
fucking
one-
Fire one shot, fire one round, everyone.
Yeah.
Fire 151.
151,
So
yeah.
people would get there, do a shot. Coach would come up, blow the thing up, and then we would jam.
Yeah.
Don't
Like,
forget,
that was like every night.
Yeah.
Well, we would drink the rest of the bottle, which is the gnarly part, too.
Absolutely.
Which is so wild.
and Coach would too. But-
Oh, it definitely helped a lot.
he drank the first half.
Oh,
Yeah.
boys, don't be too hard on yourself. I don't think we ever dived into the 151. It was always Jaeger.
Oh.
God, which is
Oh, wait, no,
so
151
many
was...
We reserved the 151 for Coach to do the shop.
But that's what's
yeah,
in
yeah, I
the
think
world famous Mai Tais though, Dong.
But we weren't always at the Mai Tai place.
Thank
and
God.
You are right.
I forgot
It's just
about
a
that.
floater, yeah.
Because I remember being like, why would we even have this if you just use it for fire? You drink it. They're like, you asshole, you just drank 10 Mai Tais. It's okay, that's
All
cool.
right, everything's cool. Well, let's continue to party.
Yeah. That's great. Okay.
No, and that's one too. Now that we're talking about it, I remember that all these songs I remember specifically when I went back and had the re-listen. And I was so impressed with, I remember listening to this one too, and I was just like, oh, fucking, so the Chili Pepper vibe is.
My favorite thing about this one, Do Something, it's so relatable yesterday and now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like
it's almost
everyone's
more
so consumed.
It's almost
with,
more
like,
relatable now.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You know? And like, look, rightfully said, being on this side of like 40 and mature, it's like, I get it. It's super important.
Yeah.
But also, if you just dive into that only, right, with no real balance, no health in that, now you just totally forget why you're alive.
Yeah.
There's way more good things about being alive and having friendships and conversations and seeing people and picking up your kids and taking your wife out to dinner and calling a friend that you haven't talked to for a really long time just to hear their voice and catch up. Like those are the things that like are still in existence that we're just not paying attention to them because the other stuff is so predominant.
Right.
Which is why your reactions are the most powerful thing you have in this world.
It's the it's the only thing you can control.
It's the only thing you can control, and it's what shapes your reality of being, like you said, like there's so much beauty in this world. It's
so much
amazing.
going on.
Or being like, everything's fucked.
Yeah, thank you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You guys are dropping some fucking real truth here. It's so true. And you can get swept away, even though you know those things, you can get swept away by just having a bad day or worse, reading a headline that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad that we were free from that in the way, like just because we were doing us.
Yeah, iTunes just came out.
Just question. Did we outlast iTunes? It's still a thing?
No, because it's Apple Music now.
Yep.
Guys?
I think technically if you wanted to go buy a song and download it to actually like own the MP3, you still can. But for the most part, it's Apple Music.
I'm not going to do that. No.
Yeah.
Like,
What's up? What's next?
Next is Slave.
Oh, okay.
Which we jumped ahead to this one a bit ago, but now we're here. And this, definitely I remember we recorded it at the observatory.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, upstairs with Barn Horse.
Okay.
Yep. A totally different version.
Yeah, totally different version.
Yes. Okay.
And then I think this was kind of like Bring Me Along too, where I think we had a few different versions of it. And then Leary loved it during No Shame and was like begging to put it on the record and do it.
Okay.
Fell to the wayside just for all the major label stuff. We do this and that.
Oh, yeah.
And then it came back hard because I think Leary's like, sick, we're going to make another record. Where's that Slave song? We got to do that now for sure.
He came hunting for it,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
He's going to end up being that fan that always go like, hey, can you play that song? Like the Obi or...
well, we'll talk about the artwork too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that one too. I was gonna say, you know what's funny about that one, which I'm remembering now how many different versions of the song. I remember there was like the Latin version of that song. There was one of those ones that went around the ringer, but my favorite version,
Latin version.
Yeah, believe it or not, you know who helped me with these guitar chords? There's more of like a not metal, but like more of a rock version is Fa. No, Fa.
Say Dino's.
No. The
Law.
Fa, the source master himself.
Hideous.
Yes. Yep. But he showed me these chords, which there's something so beautiful about the fucking guitar.
Yeah.
You look at it and you're like, oh shit, gotta get back to work. Okay. This hurts my chord, whatever. But every once in a while somebody rolls by, use the G961, whatever. Cloud does it all the time back in the day. The ska ones, whatever had I was like, crazy legs fingers over here, so many. But Fa showed me this one. It was like, he told me a story, but it's like, this one's very rock and he had like a rock thing of like a Zeppelin or some old band that he played with at some point, was jamming in the green room and he saw him doing it. It was a very like, not metalcore, but something that I would have never thought of or know and he just strummed it. I was like, and that's where.
Like, this guitar ain't so bad.
No, it was so cool. But I remember that influenced like, notes in the melody that I would have never thought of. And it was such a good feeling. And then after that, there was this rock appreciation that I kind of built off of that. And I was so proud of myself. Like, I hadn't written like a rock riff like that since maybe Dust on My Shoes or whatever. And I was like, he brought me back to it. But there's something really cool about that chord. When I think of that song, I think of his big old mitts on one of his cool guitars and being so jazzed up about it. I was like, okay. He's like, cool tune, but check this. I was like, sometimes that little nudge, that little extra chord.
Our dad's
man.
just constantly inspiring.
Dad is
us.
just smashing it for life. Thank you, Fa.
Yeah,
No.
thank you,
Fa.
Fa.
Shout out to Fa.
Shout out to Fa. Yeah.
So there was a Latin version. I totally remember that.
Oh yeah.
And
so hot right now.
Because I think there was Vibra Slap. There was a whole bunch of the fish sting. There was a whole bunch of shit on there for production.
And that is a weird thing. Going back to the other thing, like Cloud was saying, I wanted to hear a version of that. Whatever. That song, I was like, I don't need any version of this song. Either let's track it or let's just let it be. Let her. I always like that about music.
Which is kind of what happened because it fell to the wayside of No Shame.
Oh yeah.
And then came back for Pink Crustaceans.
And was that version different?
I think the version that ended up on the record was more true to the original version, right?
Because that's more of a Chili Peppers-y.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a rock. I think you're right. But if I'm honest, I don't know what that song sounds like right now. But let's okay. Here, never mind. I shouldn't have said that. But I think it's there's some Chili Peppers.
This sounds like George Benson, actually.
Sick.
Yeah.
I wish I knew who that was. Fucking Paul Leary. What good guitar tones.
Oh, that was his
Jesus.
thing,
Well, you played it, buddy.
But back home.
That's weird. I know that. Great guitar. How's the open hats, too?
Yeah. Different for a verse.
Uh-oh.
And then pre-chorus. Or is this the chorus?
Probably. Wow. Near. There's Carnival. What is that?
Yeah. Oh, so it's like
More
a two-part.
uh-ohs?
Yeah. It's like an A and B part chorus.
Fucking guitar is mental on that.
Yeah, because back to the verse. Yeah.
What a trip. And I mean, would you be honest right now? Like, there's no way in my mind. This is what's so cool about being forced to record. Is you're like, this is what you're choosing right now. Can you think of writing something like that right now in your mind? Because for me, I can't because of wherever I am right now.
Gotcha.
Do you know?
Yeah.
And that's so cool to me because I'm like, it almost feels like, who was that?
Yeah.
Who were those guys?
Well, it's like Clay always talks about. It's an entry in a journal of where you're at.
So a snapshot,
in
man.
the world at that point,
And it's just
or
fucking,
in your brain at that point, or whatever.
So fun to read old journals.
Yeah.
You're just like,
right?
That's why coming back and listening to this shit after so
This is
long,
my
you're
old
just
journal. I don't have any
you're just
journals, but
holy shit, I had no idea.
no. And God damn it, those drums.
Yeah.
I'm like excited to listen to this because I'm like, wow.
Speaking of Leary with guitar tones, Leary too, even though he wasn't a drummer, he cared about the drums like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
and
far
so
as
did Mike
everything, yeah.
Sutherland.
Oh, yeah,
because Mike Sutherland was
shout out Mike.
engineering this whole
Enter
thing.
us meeting the good old Gingy Mitch.
Oh, Gingy Mitch.
And
Because
he-
Mike Sutherland was like a very accomplished drummer, like young at that time.
Yeah, he was a great drummer.
really
He is a
good
great
drummer, and he cared so much. I mean, those drums were so tuned.
Yeah, and he was
Beyond
he was the house engineer at Total Access, for
Right.
Pink Crustaceans. Who was the engineer for No Shame at Total Access? Skinny guy for some reason.
Oh, they had a big crew there. They had.
Well, there was Win, always there.
Yeah. Oh, maybe Win was just.
Oh wait,
engineering.
for No Shame. Oh, for that. Yeah, maybe
yeah.
just Win. Win's the master.
Win and
possibly-
Leary.
Yeah.
Possibly an assistant. Maybe was there.
And didn't Win.
Oh,
Skinny guy.
yeah.
Who was it?
Shoulder length brown hair. Hold on.
Come
It's
on,
coming.
come
I
on.
know. It's right there. It's right there. It's just-
Nice memory.
I know.
Lanky, right? Like skinny,
Yep.
lanky dude.
Yeah. You know who he reminded me of?
Who?
Nate. That we just got off of tour with Article Sound
Oh
System.
yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Like it's
Oh.
like it's like Nate's dad.
yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Shout out Nate's dad.
Okay, if this comes to us, but I'm glad you remember. Yeah.
Oh,
so
nice.
he was the assistant, I think, making coffee, getting tape reel, whatever.
Yep.
And then
he
Win-
was a rapper. Adam.
Yes.
Nice.
And then he turned into a DJ, and
Yep.
then he got all yoked at one point.
exactly.
Oh, his nickname was Trip Double A.
Yes.
Hey,
Yeah. Double A.
Adam,
Double A.
Yep.
that's something.
There it is.
Sick. Double A.
Boom.
Shout out Double A.
Adam.
Adam, good
If you'd
job,
have said
buddy.
double A, I'd have known, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good memory.
What's up, boss?
What's up, yeah, what's up, boss?
He kind of reminded me of like he had a little Irie-eyed Jedi
Yes,
in
he
him
did.
a little
Yeah.
bit too. Like
Yes, he
Oh
did.
man,
sick.
Little juggalo in him.
Okay.
rad. Okay.
But back to Pink Crustaceans, Mike Sutherland,
Yep.
who went
Yeah.
on to tour manage us, do front of house for us, and
Yeah.
now he's crushing at
Big
the
time.
Wiltern. He's not a tour guy anymore.
Nope.
He's
Beautiful family.
He's a production manager type of guy. But
yeah.
that's where we met him. He
Well,
introduced
don't
the
forget
whole
that when he
record.
does TM, it's like for Gwen and stuff, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah.
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 Because Froggy linked him up
Exactly.
Right.
with that. Shout out Froggy.
Froggy.
He's Ohana. That's great. He was part of that.
Yeah. So sick.
How fun.
Amazing.
Look at all these fingerprints left on these albums. It's so cool. All these people that help it. Because if that guy wasn't there, the record would have sounded definitely a little different, right?
Double
Such a
A.
good dude.
Yeah. No, that's amazing.
That's beautiful.
And okay, No Shame was the record that Leary had the Sublime reel of tape.
Or was it
Or
this
was it
one?
this?
I think it might have been
I
this.
think it might have been this.
Could have been this.
Could have been
because
this
he
one.
was doing the whole record.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm gonna bust out the
Yeah,
old
yeah,
school
yeah, yeah.
relic shit. And
Yeah.
he came to the studio with an old reel of 2-inch tape that he had to bake
Yeah.
in the oven to
Can you believe
to
that?
recalibrate or whatever.
Yeah.
And he had recorded Sublime with that same reel of 2-inch tape, right?
Two crazy stories. You have to bake tape.
Yeah.
The tape that you record
Let's
stuff
not
on.
glaze over that.
Do you remember us being like, why would you do that, man? You can't even put it through the X-ray machine at the airport. You're gonna lose it, man.
Yeah.
Like whatever. And you
Yeah.
have to bake it to a certain temperature to get it, rewind it.
Yeah.
But didn't they track?
Now you can just air fry it.
You could just air fry it. But the other half of that was, oh God, was you can air fry it. Cooknegger, shout out. But he recorded Sublime.
Yeah,
That
I
was the
think-
record.
yeah.
Sublime.
Yeah, 'cause
But
that's
in the
the
same
only-
studio. Do people know that?
Well,
Total
it was-
Access did part of it, right?
Part of it, yeah, because they did part at the studio in Austin.
Okay.
Which was
Willie Nelson's studio.
yeah, Willie Nelson's.
Copy. But what a trip.
Yeah. that was
Wait. We
Slave
worked
just
so hard.
unlocking
God.
the memories.
We just put all this time in. You're gonna bake the tape?
Yeah.
Sounds like a stoner move. I like it.
And then, do you remember when you wrote the lyrics to "Slave"? What?
Like content stuff.
yeah,
It
what-
sounds more similar, cut from that same timepiece. A lot of
Yeah.
pain, a lot of whatever.
Yeah.
I lost my grandparents around that time. The first people I really lost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
always as far as like your family, immediate family.
You know what's gnarly is that because around this time I lost my mom.
Yeah. My God.
So there was like
There's-
talking about that dark period, like
Yeah.
that shit was real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was
No,
like
it
there
was
some,
very
there
real.
was some challenges ahead that we were gonna have to go through.
No,
basically.
100. You got, and what a terrible time to lose these foundations in your life.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
no, you're so right. So a lot of those things for you guys that we're talking about, alluding to, there was all this work. You have your busiest time of your life right up until that point.
Yeah.
But then you're also losing the important things in your life.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, forget about music, whatever, real
No,
life.
and think about that high. Like you think about because professionally we were on such a high because like Atlantic, this and that, and
Oh,
then like
God, I forgot
and then
about
then
that,
like
yeah.
personal life takes
Yeah.
a hit after that,
Yeah.
and it's like this
Yeah.
like what a
You're on the radio within the last few years for the first time.
Yeah.
You're touring other countries for the first time. All these
Yeah.
first times, whatever. But at the same time, you're losing, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, losing a parent, there's nothing like it too. And my grandparents were very kind of were like parents in that
no,
way with
dude,
my parents.
totally.
So
yeah.
that's
And you're
but
not
yeah.
talking about a long time.
No,
Like there's so much happening in a short time. Like,
Totally.
You got to keep in mind.
Yeah.
We left in '99.
yeah.
You guys are talking 07, 08.
wasn't
and
even-
how much
Wow.
has happened in that?
wasn't even
Strong.
10
You're
years.
so
not
right.
even 10 years.
Not even 10 years.
So
Yeah.
all that happened already that we already talked about.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah,
All
we're
that,
at,
right.
we're
And
at-
then this. Wow.
we're at
So
year-
it's a
we're at-
very little amount of time to
Yeah.
fit all this in.
and we're at year 9
Wow.
of moving from Hawaii to the mainland in 2008.
It'd
We're
be
at-
like watching Pulp Fiction in a 30-minute movie.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
It was ridiculous on
No,
how
and
much
honestly,
happened.
you think about
Wow.
it, and it's like all this stuff. You think about those people that like become they have a bunch of success, and then they lose their mind, and it's like because all this shit comes at them, like
Yeah.
whatever it is comes at them, and they
Yeah.
can't handle it, and they freak out or whatever. It's like it's just yeah. But like you said, it's like even going back to being able to write a song about something that's on your mind, but translate it to somewhere else. It's like you got to come back to the fact that like, thank God for music, because it's such a outlet and such a release and so therapeutic at the same time. Even playing it, even going out and touring and playing music is just so.
No, and people think of it as, oh, it's a party. That's the one thing. That's one of the few things that always bugs me is what people, not about the people, it's about people, what they understand about what we're lucky enough to do is that they believe that it's just the fun part, that it's just the fun.
Yeah, totally.
And we don't bother them with the other, oh, it's what I want. No, we're so happy and so, grateful to be there every time. But there is a big sacrifice in your life to do that. And just in the lyric, the one thing, all I ever wanted was to be your slave. I don't even remember the last part of the line, but that could pertain to, this is what our dream was, right? We come over here within 9 years, we're doing all this stuff coming from high school. We were in a high school, and before that we're together. And it's shoved in that all I ever wanted was to be a slave. And now you're like, now I'm throwing your clothes away. Almost like the old person, the old you.
Yeah.
It's almost like, did you really want this? Because now you're a slave to it kind of in a way. I can remember being like, the contradiction that you're realizing what it is. You've got all this, but you just lost all this.
Yeah.
It's the beautiful trade-off.
Well, it's great. It's the craziest thing. It's like, it's so like interesting because everyone talks about music being the master and whatnot. And I just read Geddy Lee from Rush's book about it's called My Effin' Life, just about the biography, I guess. And he talks about that too, how it's like when you're in a band, music, like your family falls to the side, you know what I mean? It's like you're saying, that's like talking about being a slave to it. It's like, that's kind of what you sign up for, though. You know what I mean? It's,
without realizing really what that means.
Yeah, is letting the music lead the way. And
why do you think record labels call it the masters?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's literally the master. So, but yeah, no, it makes total sense though. Wow. As far as which is kind of cool because the Pink Crustaceans is so true, I think, throughout the whole record, like through the fun Motownness though, but the vibe kind of remains the same of that, where it's like our little bit darker record.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
But it's kind of rad that it was like, it's so cohesive, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
The contrast of the cover too, being so bright, lively,
right,
and like the subject.
Yeah, totally.
That's ironic, isn't it?
Which is always kind of rad. Like, for instance, there's that Foster the People song, the Pumped Up Kicks, which is about
weird song.
Which is, but it's when you don't listen to the lyrical content, you're like, oh, this is a fun sounding song.
Sounds like a great time.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh wait, they're talking about Columbine. Yeah. They're talking about
that's right.
He's like, all the little kids in the Pumped Up Kids run faster than my bullet, is what he's talking about.
So heavy.
But same thing where you listen to the song, which is such a rad thing about music.
Yeah.
Where you can hear how it sounds on the surface and be like, this sounds like the most.
Like Sublime, total masters, right?
Yeah.
Like Wrong Way.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
You know, like,
totally.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah,
There's
just like, but you're just like.
Yeah.
There's a clown in it. This clown's fun. Wait, this clown seems like somebody I know. Is that an abusive? Oh no, this is awful.
Wait, you're talking about a 12-year-old whore?
Yeah.
Wow, this is nuts.
Yeah, this is wow. Maybe
why am I dancing?
Right, dancing to this.
Exactly.
But that's the amazing thing. How just like you're talking about the artwork for having the Crabalac, which we were talking about earlier. So I think this is Ben. Like kind of had this artwork. Like he was like done and done with it, right? Like I think I don't think there was a bunch of versions of artwork.
When we gave him just the name of the album, it's really like it basically just came to life.
What did you think I was going to do?
Crustaceans and Good Vibration, which is why it's so lively. It's at the beach, Good Vibration, palm tree, and here's a pink Crabalac.
The Crabalac,
right?
So sick, by the way. So sick.
Yeah, and then we might as well talk about it now. And that's what Leary got tattooed on his left arm.
Yeah.
Is it? He's got the
think
full-blown Crabalac, because that's how much I think pride and how much Leary stands behind this record and his work on it is. He was like, I'm going to get this shit tattooed on my arm because I love this record. I love this artwork. Let's do this.
Which
Even
is
before the drums were mixed.
Yeah.
He was already.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But
how
powerful and validating is that? Despite the dark time, he's one of those guys, though. He was the perfect guy at the perfect moment.
Yeah.
I don't see, if I look back to all the great producers we've had till up to that point, I don't know that anyone could have understood and somehow invited in the darkness, so to speak, and let it be the fuel, understanding as a seasoned artist himself in a band that has a lot of culture in the dark arts big pop success and all this great and their fan base is so avid, similar to like a Ween or
Yeah, totally.
And for him to be able to absorb what we were bringing in, because that's all we had, right? And to turn it into such cool representations of still dark, not, oh, let's not make it happy, but it kind of, it is what it is, that he decided to, not a small tattoo, guys, not a little, a full, his whole arm before it's mixed, because he was so proud. That's called putting your money where your mouth is. He wasn't bullshitting us. To this day, every time I see him, I always like to lift it up. Can I see the tattoo? Because I don't believe that an album of ours is tattooed on a legend like that.
Totally.
That is wild.
Seriously, like,
and beautiful.
That's one of those things where it's like, if you really think about it, you're like, wait, the guitar player from Butthole Surfers, aka the producer of the Sublime self-titled album, has one of our record cover arts tattooed on his arm.
And then who feels this more is Ben Bruff.
The artist.
Yes. Has his art that he drew.
Because Ben understands what this is.
Yeah, straight out. I know, and especially someone like Ben and
who loves music as much as he loves.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's honestly, there's no words that can explain the gratitude for and the just mind blown of something like that, which is amazing. So, but back to the original point, could you imagine making that record with
Hexam,
Steve Kravac?
No.
Or
Saint? No.
Or at that time,
especially with the amount of woes that we heard already.
Yeah,
how many woes are there?
There's way too many woes.
So many woes.
I don't know. I think actually, I like to think about that.
Yeah, it might have turned out great.
Maybe. You never know.
I honestly think like all those guys, all these producers are good at what they do. It would be like an interesting situation to see what they would have done with this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Total like if you could like do like that Dark Matter show on HBO and do like,
there you go,
open one of the different rooms and it's like, oh, this is the room that actually Saint produced Pink Crustaceans and Good Vibrations. Oh, cool. Let me listen to it now.
I like the Kravac thing,
or
right?
Kravac. Like I would like of course you'd love to see different alternate realities without experiencing them.
Oh yeah.
But just be able to peep into them, which is obviously is impossible.
It's fun to think about, though.
It's super fun to think about.
It's very fun. God bless him.
Yeah.